Hey everyone, welcome to my end of year video where I tell you guys the 10 best games that I personally played throughout the year. And this is actually my 6th year in a row doing this video, and I always like to look back on the year before and see how many games I bought that year and compare it to this one. So I've got the stats right here. Last year, at the end of the year, I had bought 200 new games, but this year I'm actually slightly ahead of that with 205. In fact, make that 206 because this literally came through the post about a second ago, but that is not the purpose of this video. This video I'm going to be telling you my 10 favourite games of the year, starting off with a game that I can't actually show on camera because this one was in VR. And no, it's not Resident Evil 4 VR, which I know a lot of people really enjoyed this year on the Quest, but my favourite VR game of the year has to go to Gadgetia. It's a very different kind of game, but it just completely absorbed me. I've been completely obsessed with this game all year. It's so relaxing and it's so different to any other VR experience out there. Basically, all you need to do is get a ball from one side of the stage to the other, and you have a palette of different options to help you get to that end goal. It's such a relaxing game, it's such a rewarding experience as well, and I love the fact that it's all set inside this house, and as you're moving around completing these puzzles, you can look back on where you've already been, and you can build out this really nice picture of all the puzzles that you've managed to do, and you can see how much more there is to do as well. And there's also certain parts of the house which are blocked off, so it leaves a little bit of mystery too. I really do enjoy this game, and I really need to play it more as well. Number 9, and this is a game that I got for the 3DS to show off in my 3DS Hidden Gems video earlier in the year. This is Stellar Glow. By far one of the best games on the system now. I really enjoyed playing through this one. I didn't actually finish it, and I have been meaning to go back to it for a long time now. My DS is actually on charge in the other room, so maybe I'll give it a bit of a play tonight. But the thing that I really loved about this game that really surprised me was how good the story was. It was really engrossing. I really loved all the characters, and I'm not usually a huge fan of the kind of strategy game that this is, but for whatever reason this one just drew me in. So if you want a strategy game for the 3DS and you're a little bit bored of the typical games like Fire Emblem, then definitely give Stellar Glow a try. Number 8, a game for the Switch that actually came out this year. This is Chrono Fantasy Reverie series, and I was planning to do a video on this game and the series in general, but for whatever reason I never found the time to do that retrospective. So this is probably the first time that I'm actually talking about this on the channel, but I think that this was a fantastic remake of the first 2 games. I did actually play through it all the way on Twitch, so if you're interested in checking out some of my streams, and I do plan on doing more next year as well, then go ahead and check out the link in the description to go and watch my Twitch channel, and you can actually look back on the VODs and see me play through both of the games on this collection. I had a fantastic time. They're 2 of my favourite platformers ever, and I think they hold up incredibly well. The Switch version probably isn't the best way to go. It plays a lot smoother on the PlayStation 4 and 5, but I got this on the Switch and I didn't really have an issue with it. The frame rate wasn't quite 100%, but don't let that put you off. It's still a fantastic set of games, and it really makes me hope that they're going to make a brand new platformer in the future for the Klonoa series, so fingers crossed. 7, and another Switch game, and one that I actually got a few years ago, but it was only this year that I actually sat down and properly played it. This is Hades, and I'd been putting it off for a while because I'm not a huge fan of roguelike games, but for whatever reason this game just clicked with me and I was completely blown away by how good it actually is. I've put so much time into it now and I'm right at the end of the game. I managed to get all the way up to the last world. For those of you that have played it, you'll know that there's a big range of doors that you need to go through, and I had one door left. I was right at the end and then I died, and I just haven't played it since then, but I should really go back to it because I really think I can complete it. I'm so close. And of course the sequel got announced at the Game Awards recently, and I'm really looking forward to that, so I hope I can finish the first one in time. Now for another new game, this time for the PS5. This is Need for Speed Unbound, and this is actually one that I only got a few weeks ago, and I again was completely blown away by this. I wasn't expecting too much because apart from Heat, the last few Need for Speed games have been a little bit iffy on whether they're actually any good or not, but this one, I have to say, is not just one of the best Need for Speed games recently, but quite possibly the best racing game that I've played in about 10 years, honestly. Since Hot Pursuit on the PS3, honestly, I loved the game so much, and it's a game that I've been playing every night after work, and I'm definitely going to go back and play some more tonight as well. Really enjoying this. I think they've nailed the formula. The controls are fantastic, the sense of progression through the game is really good as well, well. So if you're on the fence about getting the new Need for Speed game, definitely jump off that fence, run to your nearest game shop and pick it up right now. And it is actually on sale. I'm glad I waited because it's about 20% off at the minute. So if you want this, go ahead and get it while you can. I know this list so far hasn't really been that many retro games, which is quite surprising. I do have some coming up though, so I hope you're looking forward to them. But next we have another game for the PS5. This is Sonic Frontiers. What an incredible game. At first I wasn't quite sure about whether I actually enjoyed it or not, but the more I played it, the more I got engrossed in the game, and all of the different game elements finally clicked for me, and now I have to say that it's honestly one of my favourite games in the entire Sonic franchise. I think it's a great foundation that Sega's going to build on for future Sonic games, and I really can't wait to see where they take the series next. This is a great step in the right direction. There are a few things that I didn't like, but I don't want to dwell on the negatives in this video, so all I'm going to say is I really enjoyed Sonic Frontiers, and if you enjoy Sonic games, then I'm sure you will too. Now for a retro game, this is one that I picked up from a game shop called Super Game Shack, which I actually did a video tour of a few months ago. This is a game called Blender Bros, and I've been after this for a long time. It was quite expensive, but I don't regret picking it up one bit. This is actually for my Quintet video because, surprisingly, someone who worked at Quintet, before they actually disbanded, actually wrote the sound program that this game runs on. So that is a really cool little bit of trivia, but the game itself is actually a really fun action/puzzle platformer, and it's got great graphics, it's got fantastic music, and I really need to go back and play the rest of the game. So definitely recommend Blender Bros if you've got a GBA and you want something a little bit obscure and a little bit out of the regular range of platformers that you would generally see on the system. Really good game. Another GBA game, and this is one that I played for a collaboration video that I was in a few months ago with Steaker. The game in question is actually the second game on this box here, Sonic Pinball Party. And I've actually had this for many years now, but I've only ever played Sonic Advance on there. I never really touched the Pinball Party side of it, but after playing it this year for the video, I played it for hours and hours to get as far as I could in the Nights into Dreams table on that game, and I actually really grew to love the game. There's a great range of different things that you can do on the table to trigger different events, and it's probably the first time that I've actually sat down and properly played video pinball, and I really had a great time. The next game is one that I found out about thanks to playing it on the PC at Play Expo Blackpool. This is a game called Screamer 2, and I briefly mentioned it in my Play Expo video, but I just wanted to come here again and say how much of a great racing game this is. You can actually download it on Good Old Games, and that actually comes with a few improvements to allow it to run better on modern computers. But the thing I loved about this game, one, the graphics are fantastic, not just for the time, I still think they're fantastic today. It looks like an incredible arcade racing game, and I love that low poly aesthetic as well, and it runs at a really silky smooth frame rate, so it really still feels good to play today. Kind of like if you were playing the original Sega Rally or Daytona in the arcades, you really get that vibe with this game. And the second thing that I love about it so much, the controls in this game are just absolutely perfect. I also downloaded the first Screamer game off Good Old Games as well, and that game controls horribly, but whatever the team did with the sequel, they absolutely nailed it, and more than 20 years later, I honestly still think that this is one of the best controls in racing games of all time. It completely blew me away when I first played it, and now that I've actually had chance to sit down and play the game on my own, I can safely say that it's actually one of my favourite racing games of all time. And number one kind of isn't a game, but also kind of is. This is something that only turned up the other day, and I've been super excited about it for many years now actually. It's finally arrived. This is the Playdate, which, if you don't know, is a monochrome game console with a hand crank. It's such a unique idea, and basically the idea is that you get a set of games delivered to you on a regular basis, so you've always got something new to play on there. But not only that, it actually comes with a development kit as well, so you can actually play other people's creations on here too. So if you've got a Playdate, or if you know someone who's got one, please leave in the comments some of your game recommendations, because I would love to check out some more games on this system. I'm having an absolute blast with it so far, and I'm so happy that it's finally arrived and I've finally got it in my hands. So of course expect a video sometime next year to go over this in more detail as well, because I absolutely love it. Anyway, that was my 10 favourite games of 2022. Let me know down in the comments below, what are 10 of your favourite games that you've played this year? They don't need to have been released this year, you just need to have played them this year. And of course, thank you as always for the continued support. I've got some really exciting plans for next year, so I hope you'll all be along for the ride. Goodbye.